Hey, what's going on, everyone? Romeo here, a fellow Spanish language learner. In this quick video, I'm going to give an update on my 2026 Spanish learning plan. I released my first video that talked about my 2026 Spanish learning plan at the beginning of this year in January. And so now it's the last day of the month. And I just wanted to talk through like how dynamic my plan could be in the light of new information as it comes up. So at the beginning of the year, I talked about how I track all my studies with a spreadsheet. And my spreadsheet started with two main resources. It started with Gilda Niesenberg's Complete Spanish Grammar and Short Stories for Beginners. And I talked about how I was going to use both of those resources. Specifically, I said how I was going to use Spanish Short Stories for Beginners and go through each of the stories, do the transcriptions for the stories. After I did the transcriptions for the story, actually listen to the story and then move on. And that was going to be a way for me to build my vocabulary. Well, the quick change is that I'm still going through Complete Spanish Grammar, and I really enjoy reinforcing what I've already learned, and I'm picking up new things. But for Spanish short stories, I actually got up to the fourth story in the book. And then I had released my video about the Destinos Like alternative, which reminded me about Espanol C. And just a quick reminder, if you didn't watch that video, Espanol C is 74 episodes with its main purpose to really teach Spanish or teach Spanish. And I talk about it more in that video. But what I realized is that Spanish short stories for beginners is great. Did a lot of reading, allowed me to slow down with the language. But the one thing that I realized that I was missing once I reviewed Espanol C is the visual components, right? Reading is one of those things that like you're either into it or you're not. And so when I reviewed Espanol C, I was like, you know what? I can go through this series again in the same manner that I'm going through these short stories for beginners. And that's what I ultimately decided to do. So my plan actually changed mid-month. And so now what my plan is, I went ahead and I removed Spanish short stories for beginners. And now what I'm doing until I complete these two resources is I'm continuing to go through Complete Spanish Grammar. And as you can see on this spreadsheet here, it's broken down into, it kind of changed from the way my spreadsheet looked in the beginning because I'm realizing I'm moving through the chapters a little bit faster. So if I take a chapter, for example, let's say the chapter is the one that I'm doing right now, reflexive verbs and reflexive constructions. Like if the chapter has 18 sections or something like that, then I try to break it down into 18 divided by however many days I want to do it. So I'll say 18 divided by 2 days. If I do it in 2 days, then I'll do 9 sections of the book before moving on. So I go through the chapter, I build flashcards for the chapter, and then I have this checkbox where I make sure I look at the flashcards for the chapter at least once. And the flashcards are in arrears. So right now, because I'm doing chapter 8, I'm studying the flashcards for chapter 7. So that's what I'm doing with Complete Spanish Grammar. And then for Espanol C, again, it's really entertaining. I'm doing it slow, as I said I was going to do for Spanish short stories. And I'm watching the episode with subtitles. And then I'm reading the video script for the show, and that gets me just reading, so it replaces the reading that I was going to be doing with Spanish short stories. And then I'm watching the episode without subtitles. And just a quick place I'll show you is I like to use TurboScribe.ai. And if you go to TurboScribe AI, if you wanted to turn any YouTube transcript into something that you can read and print out, use TurboScribe, and you basically can turn any video into a video transcript. and I'll show you what that looks like real quick. So this is what it would look like if you transcribe that YouTube video into Spanish. And then you can also take this document once it's transcribed into Spanish. You can take this document and of course you can translate it into English if that's something that you want to do. But maybe I'll do another video about that sometime in the future. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing and it's been working well. Complete Spanish grammar, Espanol C, doing these 3 things. So the big question is it actually doing what I think it's doing, which is moving my Spanish forward in 2026? And the short answer is yes. Can I put my finger on it? Probably not. But I would say that every time I review a structure, I get more confident in the language. So when I'm speaking the language, I don't have as many hesitations as I would previously have. So that's one thing. And of course, the second thing is every time I see a word that I saw before, or even if it's a new word and I study that word, it builds confidence for me when I want to use that word in the future. So those 2 things are working well. These 2 resources are working well. And I plan to have at least complete Spanish grammar finished by the end of March. And Espanol C, because it's 74 episodes, that probably won't be finished. Let me see, until like the beginning of April, based on how I'm doing it. Actually, now that I think about it, I have another spreadsheet that tracks the entire 74 episodes of Espanol C, and I have them broken down into different tabs: the beginner episodes, the intermediate episodes, the advanced episodes, and then the last episodes that they have Spanish for travel and Spanish for work. So actually, I won't be done with Espanol C until almost the end of this year. And then maybe I'll go back into Spanish short stories for beginner, because that's already queued up on my spreadsheet. So I just thought I would give a quick update on where I stand in 2026 on my updated plan. But now I'm more curious about what your plan was at the beginning of the year and how is that going for you. So please let me know in the comments. If you like that I said at the beginning of the year that I was going to start and that I'm continuing, like I tell other people to do, give this video a like, and hopefully you're doing the same. But until the next video, good luck on your journey to building more functional, usable Spanish. Peace.